Whether you're flying across the country or heading overseas, traveling with medication in 2025 isn't as simple as tossing pills into your bag anymore. With tightened airport regulations, evolving TSA rules, and international customs laws that can differ wildly, one mistake could delay your trip, or worse, put your health at risk. In this video, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about traveling with medications in 2025. So before you step on that plane with your prescriptions in hand, make sure to watch this video till the end. 1. Can you bring medications on a plane? The simple answer is yes. Travelers are generally permitted to carry medications on airplanes. The Transportation Security Administration (TSA) allows passengers to bring both prescription drugs and over-the-counter (OTC) medicines in their carry-on bags, as well as in checked luggage. This policy ensures that people can manage their health needs throughout their journey without unnecessary restrictions. When it comes to liquid medications, there is a special exemption. Normally, liquids are limited to containers of 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, or less, and they must fit within a single quart-sized clear plastic bag. However, liquid medicines are treated differently. Passengers can bring liquid medications in quantities exceeding this limit, and these do not need to be placed inside the standard liquids bag alongside toiletries. That said, carrying larger amounts of liquid medicine comes with some extra steps at security. If your medication is a liquid and exceeds 3.4 ounces, you are required to declare it to the TSA officer as you approach the screening checkpoint. It's also a good idea to separate these medications from other items in your bags to make the screening process smoother. Be prepared for additional checks, which may include a TSA officer visually inspecting the medication or conducting a swab test to ensure safety. While this can add some time to the screening process, these procedures are designed to maintain security without penalizing passengers who need their medications. 2. Prescription medications. Is original packaging necessary? Many travelers wonder whether their prescription medications need to be in their original containers. According to TSA regulations, keeping your medications in the original pharmacy-labeled bottles or blister packs is not a legal requirement. The TSA's focus is primarily on the safety and proper declaration of the medicine rather than the packaging. However, there are good reasons why maintaining your medications in their original packaging is strongly recommended. For one, most countries have their own laws that require medications to be clearly labeled with your name and prescription details. When traveling within the US, these laws vary, but it's generally easier to prove your right to possess the medication if it's in the original bottle. In addition, if you are carrying medication for someone else, such as a family member or friend, it becomes especially important to have a doctor's note or a copy of the prescription. This documentation helps clarify the legitimacy of the medication, especially if the name on the container does not match your identification. For international travel, original packaging takes on even greater importance. Customs officers in foreign countries tend to be much stricter, often having zero tolerance for unmarked pills or liquids, regardless of whether they are legally prescribed. Without clear labeling and appropriate documentation, your medication could be confiscated or cause serious delays. To minimize any issues, always try to carry prescription medicines in their pharmacy-labeled containers and bring copies of any prescriptions or medical notes. Make sure the name on your government-issued ID matches the name on the medication. This alignment can prevent confusion and help security personnel or customs officials verify your medicines quickly and confidently. 3. Know the stricter rules and avoid legal trouble. If you are traveling outside the US, do not assume that TSA guidelines will protect you once you arrive at your destination. Every country has its own laws about what medications you can legally bring into their borders, and many impose stricter rules than the TSA. Some medicines that are commonly prescribed and legal in the United States may be banned or heavily regulated abroad. For example, codeine, a frequently prescribed painkiller and cough suppressant, is prohibited or limited in several countries such as Japan, the United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia. Similarly, stimulant medications like Adderall, which are prescribed for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder (ADHD) in the US, are strictly forbidden in many countries, even if you have a valid prescription. Failing to comply with these laws can lead to severe consequences, including fines, arrest, or imprisonment. To avoid these risks, it's critical to do your homework before traveling abroad with any medication. Start by researching the rules of your destination country. The most reliable sources of this information are often the official embassy or consulate websites. These government portals usually offer detailed instructions about which medications are allowed, which require special permits, and which are banned outright. Many countries require travelers to carry a doctor's letter or medical certificate that explains the medication's purpose, dosage, and the necessity of use. In some cases, this letter must be translated into the official language of the country and issued within a recent time frame, typically within 6 months before your arrival. Additionally, some countries limit the amount of medication you can bring to a supply for only 30 days, even if you have a legitimate medical need for a longer period. Be sure to verify these limits so that you don't accidentally carry more than is allowed, which could result in confiscation or other penalties. 4. Should you pack medications in checked or carry-on bags? When it comes to packing your medications for air travel, the general rule is clear. Always keep essential medications in your carry-on bag rather than your checked luggage. This advice isn't just a preference, it's about safeguarding your health and peace of mind throughout your journey. One of the biggest risks of putting medications in checked baggage is the potential for lost or delayed luggage. Airlines misplace thousands of bags every day, and your vital medicines could end up far from where you are, leaving you without access to them for hours or even days. Imagine the stress of being stuck at your destination or in transit without the medications you rely on. Moreover, the cargo hold of an airplane is not temperature-controlled in the same way the passenger cabin is. Many medications are sensitive to extreme temperatures. Exposure to excessive heat or freezing cold can degrade the medication's effectiveness, making it less reliable or even unsafe to use. This is especially important for insulin, liquid antibiotics, or other temperature-sensitive drugs. Keeping them with you in the cabin helps maintain proper temperature control. For convenience and security, it's best to pack your medications in a clear, resealable plastic pouch. This makes it easier to present them at the security checkpoint and access them when needed during the flight. Having everything organized and visible can help speed up the screening process and reduce stress. 5. Solid versus liquid medications. When it comes to airport security screening, there's a significant difference between how solid and liquid medications are treated. Solid medications, including pills, tablets, capsules, and powders, are usually straightforward to bring through security. There are generally no quantity limits on solid medications, so you can carry as many as you need for your trip. TSA officers are accustomed to seeing these items and rarely question them during the screening process, especially if they're in their original containers or clearly labeled pill organizers. Liquid medications, however, are handled with much more scrutiny. Although TSA's standard liquids rule limits passengers to containers no larger than 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, in carry-on bags, an important exception applies to medically necessary liquids. You are allowed to bring liquid medications in quantities larger than this limit, but you must declare these to the TSA officers at the security checkpoint and separate them from your other belongings for inspection. Expect that liquid medications may be subject to additional screening steps, such as chemical swabbing or tests using handheld devices. These procedures are designed to ensure the liquids don't pose a security threat. To avoid confusion or suspicion, it's highly recommended to keep these liquids in their original pharmacy containers with clear labeling. Other medical liquids like medicated creams, gels, and aerosols are also permitted. Just like liquid medications, these must be declared at security, kept separate during screening, and may be subject to extra inspection. Organizing these items in a distinct bin and notifying TSA officers proactively can help the process go smoothly. 6. What about syringes, inhalers, EpiPens, and injectables? Many people rely on medical devices such as insulin pens, EpiPens, syringes, preloaded injectors, and inhalers. The good news is that TSA allows these essential medical tools in both carry-on and checked baggage. However, there are specific guidelines to follow to ensure these items pass through security without issue. Declare them at security. Just like with liquid medications, you must inform TSA officers that you are carrying syringes, needles, injectors, or inhalers. This upfront communication helps avoid misunderstandings or delays. Needles and syringes must be accompanied by the medication they're used for. This means if you're carrying a syringe or insulin pen, you should also have the associated prescription medication with you. Keeping everything together clarifies the medical necessity of the items. Use clear, labeled containers or medical kits. Store syringes, needles, and injectable pens in secure and transparent pouches or cases that are clearly labeled. This not only keeps them safe and organized, but also helps TSA agents identify them quickly during inspection. Carry prescription paperwork. Including a copy of your prescription or doctor's note with your medical devices is a smart precaution, especially if your medication or devices look unusual or if you're traveling internationally. This documentation confirms your legitimate need. TSA agents are trained to handle medical devices professionally and discreetly. Being prepared, organized, and communicative can greatly speed up the screening process and reduce any stress associated with carrying these necessary items. 7. Bringing medical marijuana or CBD. As more states legalize medical and recreational cannabis, it might seem logical to assume that traveling with marijuana products is also permitted. Unfortunately, that's not the case, especially when flying through airports under federal jurisdiction. Despite state-level legalization, federal law still governs all airport security checkpoints. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, operates under federal authority, and marijuana remains illegal at the federal level. This means that no matter where you're flying from or to, carrying marijuana, whether for medical or recreational use, is not allowed through TSA security checkpoints. This applies even if your entire journey is within states where cannabis is legal. On the other hand, cannabidiol, CBD products derived from hemp, are federally legal if they contain less than 0.3% THC, the psychoactive compound in cannabis. These hemp-derived CBD oils, tinctures, creams, or capsules can be carried through airport security, but they must be clearly labeled to show compliance. Ambiguous packaging or products containing higher THC concentrations may be confiscated or cause legal trouble. A common misconception among travelers is that having a medical marijuana card provides protection or exemption when flying. This is not true. TSA agents do not actively search for cannabis, but if they discover it during screening, they are required to report it to local law enforcement, which could lead to fines, arrest, or confiscation. Because laws regarding cannabis and CBD vary widely between states, and especially between countries, the safest approach is to avoid traveling with marijuana or THC-based products altogether. If you feel it's necessary, research the laws and policies for your departure airport, arrival airport, and airline before you fly. Many airports and airlines have strict policies against cannabis, regardless of state laws. 8. Pill organizers versus original bottles. Many people rely on pill organizers or weekly pill boxes for convenience when managing multiple medications. These organizers make it easier to keep track of daily doses, but can cause complications during security screening, especially when traveling internationally. TSA regulations do not prohibit the use of pill organizers. You are allowed to bring them in both carry-on and checked baggage. However, some state and international customs officials may view unmarked medications with suspicion, especially if pills are removed from their original packaging. This can lead to delays, questioning, or even fines in certain countries. To minimize hassle, it's advisable to carry your medications in their original pharmacy-labeled bottles whenever possible. These bottles include important information such as your name, medication name, dosage instructions, and prescribing doctor, details that can verify the legitimacy of the medicine. If you prefer to use a pill organizer for daily convenience, bring along additional documentation to support your medications. This includes photos of the original prescription bottles and a printed medication list or letter from your doctor or pharmacist outlining your prescriptions. This documentation can be critical for clarifying any confusion during security checks or customs inspections. For added safety, some travelers also carry a medical ID card that lists allergies, chronic conditions, and medications. This can be invaluable in emergencies, whether at home or abroad, and offers peace of mind that first responders have quick access to your medical information. 9. How much medication can you bring? When packing medication for air travel, one common question is, how much can I bring? For domestic flights within the United States, there is no official TSA limit on the amount of medication you can carry, whether solid or liquid, as long as it is for personal use. The TSA's primary concern is security, not quantity. However, common sense should guide how much you bring. Carry only what is necessary for the duration of your trip. Bringing excessive amounts of certain medications, like 3-month supply of painkillers for a short 2-week trip, may raise suspicion and prompt further questioning from security officers or customs agents. International travel is a different matter altogether, as countries often enforce stricter rules regarding the importation of medications. Most nations allow travelers to bring only a 30-day supply of prescription drugs, and this typically requires valid prescriptions or documentation. Certain controlled medications, such as narcotics, stimulants, or psychiatric drugs, may require additional paperwork, prior approval, or customs declarations. Failure to comply with these regulations can lead to confiscation, fines, or even legal prosecution. To avoid complications, research your destination country's rules well before your trip. Visiting the embassy or consulate website or contacting them directly can provide up-to-date and specific guidance on medication, import limits, and requirements. 10. Prepare for TSA screening like a pro. Passing through airport security with medications doesn't have to be stressful. With some preparation, you can breeze through checkpoints quickly and avoid delays. First, gather all your medications together in one clear, labeled bag or pouch. This keeps everything organized and easily accessible for inspection. Avoid scattering medications throughout your luggage. Next, place all liquid medications separately from solids and declare them clearly to TSA officers. Inform them you have medically necessary liquids that exceed the usual 3.4-ounce limit. A simple statement like, "I have liquid medication that exceeds 3.4 ounces and I'd like to declare it," can set the tone for a smooth screening. Keep prescriptions, doctor's notes, or medical certificates handy and within reach. These documents support the legitimacy of your medications, especially if you're carrying unusual or controlled substances. At the checkpoint, be polite, clear, and proactive. TSA agents deal with thousands of travelers daily, so showing respect and cooperation can make a big difference. In many cases, after you declare your medications and present your paperwork, TSA agents may perform a quick chemical swab or visual inspection, and then allow you to proceed without issue. Being organized and upfront avoids unnecessary delays and minimizes scrutiny. 11. What to do if your medication is lost or confiscated? Losing your medication while traveling can quickly turn a fun trip into a stressful ordeal, especially if you depend on those medicines daily for your health and well-being. Whether your medications get lost in transit, stolen, or confiscated during security checks, it's essential to have a backup plan ready before you travel. First and foremost, always carry a copy of your prescriptions. This can be a physical paper copy, but even better is to save a digital copy on your phone or email. Having quick access to your prescription details makes it easier to explain your medication needs to medical professionals, customs agents, or pharmacists in case you need a replacement while on the go. It's also wise to have your doctor's contact information handy, so medical staff can verify your prescriptions or provide necessary guidance remotely if needed. If you realize your medication is missing during your trip, act fast. Contact your airline or the airport's lost and found department immediately. Sometimes, medications left behind in security checkpoints or on planes are recovered and can be returned to you. Don't delay in reporting the loss, because the sooner you notify them, the better the chances of retrieving your medication. When traveling internationally, knowing the location of nearby pharmacies and hospitals is crucial. Some countries allow travelers to obtain emergency refills of essential medications, but rules vary widely. In many cases, you'll need a doctor's note or prescription from your home country or a local physician. To avoid surprises, research your destination's healthcare system before you go and identify where you can get help, if necessary. Consider purchasing travel insurance that covers lost or stolen medications. Many standard travel policies don't include this coverage, so check carefully and add it if possible. Having insurance can save you from hefty out-of-pocket expenses if you need to replace critical medicines abroad. The key takeaway: being proactive and prepared can prevent a lost medication situation from becoming a major health crisis. With proper planning, you'll be ready to handle any setbacks and keep your trip on track without compromising your health. 12th, tips for traveling with children's medications. Traveling with children introduces extra layers of responsibility, especially when it comes to managing their medications. Kids may need daily medicines, allergy treatments, or emergency devices like inhalers or EpiPens, so it's important to plan carefully to ensure their health and safety throughout your journey. Start by packing all essential medications in your carry-on bag. This includes not only prescription drugs, but also liquid vitamins, allergy medications, and any emergency inhalers your child may require. Keeping these within easy reach avoids the risk of lost checked luggage and makes it simple to access the medicines during the flight or at security checkpoints. Use child-proof containers that are clearly labeled with the medication name, dosage, and instructions. While pill organizers are convenient, they can sometimes cause confusion with security officials, especially during international travel. Whenever possible, keep medications in their original pharmacy bottles. If you do use a pill organizer, bring a doctor's note or prescription that explains what each medication is for and confirms your child's need for them. If your child requires medication that must be kept cold, such as insulin or certain liquid medicines, bring a small cooler or insulated bag. Many airlines will allow medically necessary coolers on board as carry-ons, but check the airline's policy in advance to avoid surprises. Having a written list of your child's medical conditions, allergies, and medications is also very helpful, especially when traveling internationally. This information can be crucial for medical staff in an emergency and may be requested by customs or security officials. You can also carry a medical ID card or bracelet for your child listing allergies or chronic conditions. When you reach the airport security checkpoint, be ready to calmly and clearly explain any medications and medical devices you're carrying. TSA and customs officers are trained to handle medical situations professionally, but a polite and straightforward explanation speeds up the screening process and reduces any misunderstandings. Preparation is protection. Traveling with medications in 2025 doesn't have to be stressful, but it does require preparation. Understanding TSA rules is only the start. Knowing your destination's laws, keeping clear documentation, and packing your medications the smart way will save you time, hassle, and possibly legal trouble. Whether you're managing a chronic illness or simply carrying a few over-the-counter remedies, treating your meds like high-priority travel gear ensures you arrive at your destination healthy, stress-free, and ready to enjoy your journey. Safe travels.